Hey, welcome to the Chronicle YouTube channel. I am Busta Brown, your host, and today I have a very positive, strong young man right here from Winston.
Come on.
Got a native.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Jayson. What's up, Mr. Sloan?
How you doing?
Sir?
Blessed.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Good. Over St. Peter's World Outreach. I like how when you put world there, that's a big deal.
Right.
That means anybody that need help,
Right.
St. Peter's going to give them help.
Come on.
That's
come on.
big right
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, because some people will say outreach. You know,
Right.
not world outreach.
Right.
So
Right.
you come to us, we got your back.
Yes, sir.
What's your position here?
My position here is a pastoral director.
Right.
My wife and I are over the Grow Ministry, which is more the teaching, the training in this ministry. And we're also over Gen 1, which is the youth, from college age all the way down to nursery.
Right. That's what's up, man. How long you been in St. Peter's?
Wow, I've been in St. Peter's since 98. 98, right?
That's a minute.
Right beyond my conversion. I got saved in 97. 98, I came to St. Peter's Church and got right into the youth ministry. You got saved when I was at my wildest on 102. Right. November the 1st, 1997.
I was craziest in the 90s, right? You doing good, Busta be smiling. And you said to yourself, I'm going to pray for that brother. Man, how's everything going, man? I mean, you know, ministry is on a different level with this new norm.
It is. You know, I'll be honest with you, Busta. Things are going really, really well. I'm thankful to be up under some sound leadership. Bishop and Lady Joyce have been, they're pioneers in the game. I've always kind of kept it on the front. They've always been about the word of God and about prayer. I'll be honest with you, when I first came to this church in 98, literally, I saw myself literally from the teaching, from the reality, from the actual modeling that I saw from Bishop and Lady Joyce. I'm like, yo, I can see myself as a man of faith, right? Because let's be honest, I mean, I came from East Winston. I came from a great family, but I got out there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I had some struggles. I went to jail a few times. You know, I had my issues with drugs. I had my issues with, you know what I'm saying, the whole crime scene. But the reality was there was something deep on the inside of me. And so when I came here, that spoke to me, right? And it gave me, I felt like I was the only person amongst this big church. I was the only one that Bishop was talking to. And so literally, man, from, you know, line upon line, precept upon precept, Busta, I'll kid you not, I didn't date for 3 years. I had my word, I had a PlayStation and a Bible. And I mean, and that's all I did. I didn't answer my phone. I was selling drugs. On a smaller scale, I was selling drugs when I first got saved. Right. And not November the 1st, 1997. The next day, which was a Monday, I went back to my job in Rural Hall, and I had some friends that owed me money from over the weekend. I fronted them something. I told all of them, keep your money. I'm out of the game. I don't want to tell them to talk to me about that. And from that day forward, from November the 1st, 1997 to this day, I haven't touched drugs again. I haven't smoked drugs. I haven't drank alcohol. I haven't had any. Haven't
even sold a nickel bag.
At all. I struggled with the chicks.
Right.
You know, I struggled with the women folk, man.
Yeah.
But the reality was, man, after, man, about 3-4 months, man, I was solid. Wow. The teaching was sound. I developed the prayer life here, and I developed the hunger for the word. And, man, I kid you not, there was something that released on the inside of me on the 1st of 1997, November the 1st, that still burns in me to this day. And I'm not perfect. And I still make mistakes, but it sustains me, man. And that has been what I've gotten here at St. Peter's, man. Just great teaching, great leadership, and opportunity, man, to work in the gift. I got pulled out of the audience in 98 with no skill working with young people to say, listen, from Tim Joyner, Tim and Dallas Joyner, they were over the youth then. They said, come in here and help us. And from that point on, literally, I started working with kids in 98 in this ministry, and we had 2 trailers right outside this building right here. From that point on, I would find my wife, you know what I'm saying? And I would find pretty much my life in youth ministry, man, just helping kids. I didn't get to preach. I didn't get to testify. I got to take up money. I got to drive vans, and I got to just work with some hard-headed kids. And that was it. And I was satisfied with that. I never wanted to be the youth pastor. I never wanted to be any of that. I just wanted to serve, and that was it. That was it.
Wow. But, you know, you can't be the leader you are, Bishop Hash is, or any leader that walks or ever lived, unless you learn how to follow.
Come on.
If you can't be a great follower of the righteousness, not just anything, you can't be a great leader. That speaks huge about Bishop and First Lady Hash, that their lifestyle was a testimony. That's huge, bro. Yes, their lifestyle made you say, I can do this. Come on. Because, you know, man, you know how hard it is to give up the game.
Oh, bro. It was real.
And all it took for a man's living the life of the Lord, just have you say, I'm done. I'm done.
No questions.
Wow.
No questions.
That's deep. It transitions into, I can see now why you got involved in the Clergy Action Team, which help families and young men out there deal with gangs emotionally and in different areas, in all aspects, really. And man, gangs is running rampant lately in the Triad area.
Exactly.
You can't turn on the news without hearing about gang violence. And I'm thinking, we're too small for that.
Right.
This is not Cali.
Right.
This is not New York. Not that I'm dissing anybody because I'm from Cali. But we're too small. We're too close to deal with that. And, tell me a little bit about what the Clergy Action Team does. Okay.
Well, first and foremost, we are the Winston-Salem PD and the Gang Steering Committee, which is really founded by Mayor Pro Tem Burke. With that being stated and said, Pam Peoples Joyner, as well as my co-chair, Pastor Friday, Pastor Curtis Friday, we have all come together over the last 2 or 3 years to really talk about really specifically how to begin to decrease the amount of young people going into gangs and to find other better outcomes for them. Let's be honest. I mean, gangs is just a reality of, let's be honest, it's just networking, right? These are kids connecting with other kids, and it just so happened they're finding ways to get their needs met through these organizations. And let's be honest, I mean, bullying is on the rampage. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at young people not really having many fathers in the household. You're looking at a reality that they are just not stuck in the house. They want to go out and do something, right? And the activities that they're finding, exactly. The activities, you look at community centers are not what they were when I was growing up. I walk down the 14th Street every day of my life, from literally middle school, all the way up through high school, right? And I'm walking down the 14th Street. I found my community in the rec centers. I found my community amongst my friends. Now, mind you, some of them are going to juvie, and then I would later find out some of them get in their trouble. But literally, we had people like Rob and Brian and all types of people that were down at the school, at the centers waiting on us, man, to come to coach us, man. We didn't have any money, we didn't have any resources, but these were community people that were spending time with us, man. Some of them didn't have any kids, some of them did have kids, but they saw some effort in us. So, man, running suicides and all those types of things, man, going from gym, going to Carl Russell, MLK, that was everything for us. I never made the high school team, right? But my community I could play, and I was a star at my community.
The village was real.
It is.
The village was real.
Yes, sir.
It was real. And I can see why you would be a part of something like this based on your testimony. God kept you, but it was a struggle.
Oh, yeah.
What do you tell young men about what kept you from going back?
Oh, well, first and foremost, when I tell young men, before I tell them anything about me, I want to hear their story. Most young men never get to tell their story, right? So I'm like, what's your story? Before I even lead in with my story, I may say a few things. I want to know what's really going on. And most young men are muzzled because nobody's ever asked them. Right? That's why they're going with the facade. They kind of keep it going because nobody's really stopped them. Like, what's going on with you? But what I tell them has kept me is, and I'm very honest about it, that my relationship with Christ, period. But my mom, loved my mom, but my mom left when my sisters and I were about maybe 2nd or 3rd grade. She left town. Never met my father until I was 28 years old. So my grandmother was pretty much the matriarch, patriarch, all the archiarchs, whatever, that was her. So being raised in an environment where, your grandmother's kind of, she was she cleaned schools. I mean, she did hard work, on concrete floors and taking care of us, my sisters and I. They were twins and I was 2 years younger. I saw like a very basic fundamental life going up. And we had a great family, great core. Church was always a part of that. Can't say I was connected, but church was always a part of that. But just growing up, I've just seen people with fundamental means kind of making it happen. I knew owners of barbershops. I knew people that owned businesses in my community that looked like me. And all these cats had very simple stories, and they just kind of kept themselves within these guidelines, these rules. And so I really try to tell the kids that, listen, there's nothing special about me. I'll tell you all of my mistakes. I'll tell you all the issues that I've had. But I will tell you that I had another chance, not a second chance, because sometimes you need a 12th chance. You need a 15th chance.
You do.
I say I had another chance. And that's how I kind of connect them to my story and how I am still where I am today. Because that's by the grace of God. Because there's nothing about me that God would even be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Other than the fact that he sent his son to down the cross.
Amen. Paint a picture of what kind of emotional support that you give these kids and these families.
Well, I would tell you this.
With the organization.
Exactly. Yeah. We are very organic right now. And so, you know, a phone call may come in to Pam.
Right.
A phone call may come in to Pastor Friday. He buries a lot of cats that have been murdered through these scenarios. And so literally, we may go out into the community. We may go knock on some doors. We may go walk a community. We may go to specific scenarios. I'll never forget one particular time. Pam called me. She said, Jayson, are you free? And I said, yeah, I was here at church. She said, are you free? I said, I am. She said, let's go. So I met her over in, Happy Hill, not Happy Hill, but what is right across from the graveyard on New Walker Town. What is that little community? But anyways, met her in the inner city, in the projects area. Young man had torn up the house. She got a phone call. Young man had torn up the house. Mama was in the house. She said, come get him. You know, I don't want nothing to do with him, whatever. I went over there with her, and so the young man was outside. We went in, we talked to the mother. The mother said, listen, look what he did. The kid had torn the whole house up. And so literally, you know what I'm saying, I said, Pam, let me go outside, right? Let me handle him. You got mom, right? Mom had to be maybe 23, 24 years old. This kid was in high school, so she had him at a very young age. So I go outside, and I see this very disheveled young man. And so the reality was, my thing was, okay, I got to get this cat to talk. So I'm like, yo, so what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And he looked at me like, first of all, who you are rolling open? I said, first of all, I'm not police. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming with any other agenda. I'm here for you. What can I do to help you to make better decisions? This cat was a student at Carver. And he looked at me and he said, you know what? You know, I don't even want to be in this situation. And the reality was his home situation was simply that of he'd rather be with his father. Now, his father was in his 60s, but the mother was in her 20s, right? So, of course, this cat, he smoked. You know what I'm saying? He got in trouble. He did his stuff. But in reality, he also smoked with mom, right? Okay. So his whole parental reality had been broken down into like maybe some cipher vibe he was having with his mom. Right. So it just so happened that maybe the money was short. Maybe this was going on. Right. And he literally said, I feel like I don't have a mom, right? She's more my friend than she is my mom. And so my reality was, yo, this is my name. This is who I am. I would love to connect with you. Now, I'm not pressing myself. If you want to be connected, that's what I'm here for. If you don't, brother, I'll pray for you and I will leave you alone. But my reality is I had a situation just like yours. You know, my mom, she left when I was a young person. You know what I'm saying? I found myself being raised with somebody much older. You know what I'm saying? The reality was his daddy was dealing with a sickness. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't really handle that reality anymore. He also had siblings. And so you found a young man, you know what I'm saying, in high school, exactly trying to deal with the pressures of life. Not to mention he missing school. So that means he can't even compete in the classroom, right? Not to mention his reading, his math, and his skill set was not up to par that he can actually function. And so that's what we actually get involved into realities that were touching things that, let's be honest, she could have called the police department. They would have came and they would have detained the young man and probably took him to juvie. Right. Case closed, right? And now the reality was Pam was like, no. We can go over there and we can kind of stand in the gap for this young brother and connect with him and build with him. And we've been doing that. And now those are realities that we live in because we realize there's a big problem and one size doesn't fit all.
Wow. That's deep, bro. Appreciate that. That's a good story.
Yes, sir.
How bad are the gangs here in the Triad? Well, in Forsyth County.
Good question. Good question. I would say this, statistically speaking, around 05, we were looking at maybe 400 validated gang members, meaning that these are two, three or more people together that connected together that did some type of crime, violent crime that was a felony or better, and hung together, called themselves, had a name or a title. Right. About 2015, you're now around 1360. So you go from 1,400 to about 1360 validated gang members. The good thing is, as of June,
you went from 400,
right, 400,
to 1360.
Now, this year, we're back down to maybe 600 plus, right, 600 plus. But the cool thing is now we're learning more, right? We're learning about the tagging. We're learning about now people claiming their hoods and whatnot. The reality is now you have a lot of displaced gang members, meaning that you may have, you know, some gang members that are living in the same communities that are in different gang territories. But the reality of that as well, what I have found is now you have a population of young people that are connecting to these gangs to find realities that social media is exploding. We talked about that a little bit. And so these cats are now, be trying to recruit through social media. They're trying to recruit through schools. They're trying to commute through a lot of things. But the gang task force led by Sergeant Waller, there is a gang task force here in the city. We have, I think it's maybe like 10 or 12 on that whole committee. And all they do all day long is do gang activity. That's all they do. Sergeant Waller and his team used to be Sergeant Dawes. They have begun to kind of bring those numbers down through proper arrest, through communities saying, listen, I'm seeing some activity on my street that's not right. Communities have stood up. So you begin to see a decrease.
Good. We need that.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need that.
I'll be honest with you. There was just some killings here, a killing in this community, probably right last year sometime. One of the neighborhood association members called us up, said, listen, I want you guys to be a part of this meeting. We're calling the police department in. The new chief was there. We want to talk about they had found the body in the park, not far from this church. And so the reality is the community is now saying, listen, I don't want this in my community. I can give you a breakdown of literally the gang activity. I think around 27105 and 27101 is pretty much the most sparse population. But the reality of it is we're looking at right around maybe about 600 or 700 gang members that are validated. Now, the way you get off that list is you go to jail, do whatever, and you no longer do another crime. Then after so many months or maybe a year or so, your name falls off that list. So if you want to live the right life, do the better thing, or get connected with us, and we begin to help you to find other means to kind of walk away from that process.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, man. That's a huge drop.
Yes, sir.
And so that's a lot of work.
Yes, sir.
So we have to give Winston-Salem Police Department
phenomenal job.
The Clergy Action Team as well,
we're helping.
Because that partnership is definitely working. And I got to give a shout out because I know with Sheriff Kimbrough coming in, it's going to be even better. So
nothing but better.
Nothing but better because he's the sheriff that said, look, I want to work with the police department.
Right.
And you rarely hear that from a sheriff.
Come on.
So that's going to be even a bigger deal. But let's get into this a little bit. With the new norm, this new norm of anything goes, the social media of anything goes. I love what you all are doing, but that's what you are doing. And the ones that can't, that have not met you guys, that have not got that mentorship, that love, that hope. How serious are these young people taking God with this new norm?
I'll be honest with you. I think, and not only music, it's all types of forms of media now. We're just giving these cats pretty much they're almost blessing. Whatever goes, anything goes.
Anything is going
and people, to your point, the sense of community, the sense of love is not there. And then you're seeing such a young population. We've had young people to come on this campus at this church and spray paint their gang symbols and whatnot on the church, right? And so you're talking about St. Peter's has been in this community since the 80s, the 90s, I mean, the early 90s.
That's the disconnection from God right there.
Exactly.
That's serious. Wow.
Bro, our next door, there's a community coming down on our property, spray painting on the property, doing some different things. And so the reality is they were found, thanks to the gang action team. They found the kids by doing some interviews over at the Follow Hill and Easton and some other schools. Kids went to court and they said, okay, what do you guys want them to do? And say, so we just said is just come over and help us clean it up. You know what I'm saying? We're not asking for money. We don't want you to send the cats to jail. We don't want to, because we realize that that's only, continue the process to keep it going. And let's be honest. What I want to know is how can I make my community open to you, right? Like how can I open the gym? How can I connect with you to get your needs met? But to your point, I think there's this whole nother reality going on with our young people. I think that they're just venting. There's not many spots in Winston-Salem for young people to go and to belong. I had Upward Bound. I had 14th Street Recreation.
I had it too in California.
That's it. So I had people that were nonprofit engaged and they would love young people. They wanted to build with young people. And the reality is, let's be honest, today, parents are working, crazy hours just to provide a basic lifestyle. So not to mention we're in a neighborhood that's, Hispanic and it's black and poor whites. And the reality of that is you're talking about the median income being maybe 12 to 15,000.
Right. You need about 3-4 jobs
to
survive. You really do.
Exactly.
You
so
really
who's
do.
here?
Right.
Nobody's here.
Right.
And let's be honest, you're talking about a city with 500 plus churches. Right? But the reality is until our churches begin to say, okay, hey, what can we do together? This one-off thing, that doesn't work anymore. Where's the community with that? You know, and most people that attend, you know, these churches don't even live in those communities. So they haven't really owned what's really happening.
That's
right? And so I think that one of the great things that we will be able to do as a gang action committee is we will be able to literally say, hey, this is where the populations are. And one of the next steps for us is finding the big mamas, right? Finding the people that own that community, beginning to work with them, right? And
we miss them big mamas, bro.
Oh, it's real.
The Mo Lucases of the world.
But
Ben
those
Pickett.
Exactly.
Cats like that.
Oh, man. Those are the stakeholders in those communities. And instead of me running in and saying, listen, this is what I think we need to do, no, I need to bring you to the table. Because you know your street better than anybody, right? And so what do we do? You know the people that live on the street, right?
So what can we do?
Exactly. Because there's got to be something together. The day of taking credit for any of the success
it's over,
it's
bro.
done.
It's done.
It's done. You know, you got, and that's
there's no I in team, bro.
Bro, I hate it. Resources only goes to those individuals. This is what I have always said about nonprofit work. Nonprofit work, pretty much, the money goes to the people that know how to write well. The practitioners never get funded. The practitioners really know the work, do it out of their own back pockets. And so how do we come together? Because everybody's fighting over funding. So that's why it's about me.
For the same thing.
Yes.
They're fighting over. It's crazy. Anyway,
No. So that's my reality. How do we turn back to the communities? How do we begin to kind of give, you know, honor and respect back to the big mamas in them? You know what I'm saying? The ones that have been having cookouts for ages and feeding everybody on the block. The ones that even when I get out of prison, I can still go back and she'll still love me. She'll still give me a prayer. Still, you know, the whole nine. How do we connect with that population so we can begin to literally, you know, one kid at a time begin to work with this population? I will tell you, we have now software that has found that we have a potential 400 students right now that are potential to be gang members, right? How do we look at that 400 number? How do we divide that number up by zip code? And we begin to attack that, right? Strategically with the big mamas in there, because you know his grandma, right? You know his auntie, right? So how do we get to you to get to them? Because if I walk up in there, you're like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? But if she's like, oh, hey, Miss Such, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Miss Holiday, you know, ladies.
And no matter what,
right.
We love them big mamas, and we still respect. Even today. Even today, anyway.
No. So that's it. I think that's my reality concerning that particular question.
That's serious.
How do we engage that?
And that's how we're going to get it done, without a doubt. And keep doing what you're doing, which is serious. So that's what it's going to take to get young people involved. With this gang situation, do you honestly think we can cure it? Give it that temporary relief like Advil does, temporary relief, or put a Band-Aid on it? What's the plan?
Right. I think at this particular point, we're trying to rip off Band-Aids, right? I think the reality of it is social media has ripped off the Band-Aid. I think the news has ripped off the Band-Aid.
Sure has.
You and I can sit down right now and we can see killings. We can see drug busts. We can see all types of things that happen in the community that may have some type of connection to gang units. So at this particular point in time, I really think that we start literally with the hard questions. Number one, I don't think that gangs are the biggest issue right now. I think the biggest issue are the practitioners not coming together, right? I think there needs to be a sense of unity amongst us who are actually trying to work with these kids. And I don't think that incarceration is for everybody. I don't think that everybody needs to be locked up. Now, there are some that there is no other hope for you. You need to be locked up, right? But I think the programming that we provide, you know, we were talking about literally how do we begin to go into this population? Because I can't just come in and say, stop banging, right? I got to come in and say, listen, I got to help you to go make some money. I got to help you to take
you got to create an option. I can't just say stop and don't have any. And one of the things I love that you said, I want to go back to that real quick, not to interrupt you, is that you said, look, I understand that you caught the guys that spray painted, but this has been on my mind as we get this out to those that are looking so they know how powerful that of a job that the Clergy Action Team doing. You said, no, bring them to us, let them help us clean up. Because there's not the rehabilitation they need, they're going to get outside jail with organizations like yours. And I just want to throw that out there and revisit that.
Got to.
But like you're saying, what you all are doing, that's the way to do when the clergy come together. You know, practitioners come together.
That's it. That's it. And my heart is this, to your point about the treating of the actual scenario of gangs. I really think that once we get our stuff together, right, and once we have a unified front, that we have, you know, a friend of mine, you know, talks about being, you know, nameless, placeless, and selfish. So the reality is, how do we have a reality that we can propose as an antidote, right? So my anti-venom is literally, man, resources. And how do we get dollars behind this? How do we get, you know what I'm saying, the minds who can actually just kind of engage strategic processes that is evidence-based? And I've seen it happen, right? There's programs that's working in New York, California. There's programs that are working that's taking this population and totally changing that mindset and moving. Scared straight, let's be honest, you can't scare nobody else. Ain't nobody scared of that no more.
Not
right?
today, bro.
Busta, every brother that I connect with that just came out of prison, and whether they did 4 years, 5, 10, 15 years, are saying, listen, first of all of these programs that you're offering me, I already had them to get out. That's how I got out faster, right? I done had interviewing classes. I done had all these things. Now you want me to go back through that just to get a job, right? So the reality of it is we've got to have evidence-based things that can happen with this population once they get out. I think we need to task the Winston-Salem states, the Wake Forests, the Salems, and all of these great minds that are thinking, listen, let's put together. You guys are, you know, in college getting some of the best teaching. Why can't we connect? Why can't we talk about getting these cats into business, their own businesses, right? Let's be honest, they're not going to go back to the job force. The workforce is not paying these cats money. Those that I have talked to that have success evidence-based are guys that went in, learned to trade while they were in prison, right? Came out, now they're plumbers. Now they're electricians. Now they're doing heat and air. Why can't we have a night school where these cats can come free of charge? Don't charge them anything. Absolutely. Make it an apprenticeship program. And once you get connected, you start paying some of that back. And you help to mentor some of this other population coming through.
I'm always thinking about how we can make money.
Yes.
Off somebody's weakness.
Right. Right.
And vulnerability.
Gotta be.
Man, that's crazy, man. Keep doing the good work you're doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're a married man.
Yes.
Your wife, a shout out.
Love.
Your kids.
My baby Mia is my sweetest. 18 years of marriage, man. Mia Johash Sloan is my baby, my beautiful, my awesome, my heart. I promise you, that's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah. She's been with me. We've been like this in this youth ministry since we started. When we started pastoring around 2006. But of course, her parents are the pastors of the church. Yeah. She's been with us all her life.
How important is her support in keeping you balanced and keeping you strong and keeping you moving forward?
Oh my God. I'll be honest with you. I think not behind every great man. I think beside every great man is a phenomenal woman. I think Mia has really helped me not to, Mia has this reality of not seeing yourself as a victim, right? Oftentimes, many brothers like myself that have come out of certain scenarios, well, I didn't have a father, didn't have this, didn't have that, but great families have this victim mentality, and we're always looking for somebody to feel bad for us. Nah, she was like, first and foremost, straighten yourself up, straighten that back up. We're gonna get this work done. Right? And I mean, and while we're having kids, Busta, we're having kids that are pretty much. We were coming to church with strollers and with pacifiers and making bottles, you know, while we were literally like, you know, discipling, you know, Wake students, Winston State students, Salem students. You know, we would be here to the church at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, working with young people through their mess, right? While we're raising our family.
Through their mess.
Exactly.
That's so good, bro.
Come on, man. Young people, let's be honest, they're going to make mistakes. You will not learn best through our mistakes, not what we get right.
That's right, bro.
And so doing that and teaching them how to give that back. We built a youth group literally from about maybe 15 students to about 300 students, right? So literally our heart was evangelism. Our heart was mentorship, coaching, and helping young people to make better decisions. Oftentimes, parents were calling us to come in and try to intervene. We said, first and foremost, we ain't going to do that. Now, we ain't going to be your mom and them. But what we can do is we can kind of help we can partner with those parents to kind of help their kids have better outcomes. And so that, man, she has been my girl. I mean, she's held me down since I got to this church. I mean, and another good thing, too, is even after we have great successes here, we can go home. She's like, you need to take that trash out. Pastor Jayson, you know what I'm saying? You need to help me with these kids.
Love it, bro.
You know, so it's always been that way. And thankful to her, she just graduated Wake with her divinity degree. So she has given me now a lot of different norms that she's coming out with. She's been in the academic space. She's bringing back to our house what they're saying in academia about what we're facing now.
Absolutely.
And so better strategic thought, strategic processing, and how do we begin to engage at a higher level to see what needs to happen on this lower level, and not trying you do everything, but finding other people that want to join along and be a part of the process.
Absolutely. Isn't that what Jethro told Moses? Right. You know, look, bro, you can't handle, you can't handle all this by yourself, but find you some people you can trust and that are good. So I heard a quote that said, I'm not interested in power for power's sake. Dr. King said it, but I'm interested in power that is moral, that is good, and that is right. And that's so dope right there. So, man, look, Jayson, Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Busta.
Man, you're a good dude.
Hey, Busta,
I've known it forever.
You were a good dude. Keep doing what you were doing, Busta. We appreciate you as a community. Thank you for being our voice. Thank you for helping us to understand how to navigate our issues through communication. I think that since, we've all been young, we've all listened to the radio. I think you've been our motivation. You've been our relevance to the moment. Oftentimes we're feeling certain things, but it takes somebody like you that's a wordsmith. You know how to speak through that process. And I appreciate you for that. I think you just showing up in spaces for our community wherein we could not articulate it, but you could. And we can say what you said to make it sound right? But I thank you, Busta, because you're still doing great work.
Appreciate that.
You're a great family, man. You're raising great young men, great families. You know what I'm saying? You're still impacting spaces. Last time you and I were together, you were over in Jamestown doing some great things at that particular school, still working with young people. I commend you, Busta, because you have always had this heart to want to work with this disenfranchised population that everybody else sees as an at-risk group or a problem group, but you're still trying to give them resources that one day they can go and do something great and powerful, especially with the gifts of radio and the gifts of, all types of skills, using their voices and using their skill. I'm excited just to be sitting here with you, Busta. This right here, if people really knew your schedule in your day, they ain't ready. I appreciate you for what you do, Busta, and I'm going to say that.
It's time for us to continue making the ordinary extraordinary.
Come on.
And the only thing that's missing is that little extra, right?
I believe
that extra word. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. Yes, and obviously Bishop Hash has put that spirit in you.
Come on.
Let's keep doing it together, baby.
Let's do it. No doubt.
Thanks, you got it. We'll see y'all next week. Jayson, Sloan, Pastor.